booktube. Let's go over what I read in July, as well as preview what I'm going to read for the month of August. Before we get into the books and the recap and the preview, I just want to say it is absolutely insane that this community has grown to 7,000. I think we have over 7,000 subscribers now on booktube, which is absolutely insane. I thank every one of you for subscribing, and I hope to continue to deliver some great content for you all. So I generally don't do wrap-ups. I generally don't do monthly wrap-ups, but I figured I do this on YouTube because then we could talk a little bit more. I could talk at an extensive length around the books that I've read. But I also love doing TBRs, and you'll get to see what I will read for August. I'm also going to include what I've watched too as well. So if you're interested in me doing more of that, definitely let me know. But as always, let me know how your July went, as well as what's on your August TBR list for sure. So without further ado, let's go over my July recap. All right, for the month of July, I finished an absolute banger. So I started the month at a high, and Demon in White, 6 out of 5. 6 out of 5 for me. And if you looked at my previous video, one of my previous videos on sci-fis, this is the #1 sci-fi according to me. This is the third book in the Sun Eater series that I am so enamored with now. So this follows Hadrian Marlowe. He is the main character as he navigates through the entire universe to figure out what his purpose is. And in this one, he may be a little bit closer to finding out what his purpose is, but I still think he got a few more books to go when it comes to that there. Demon in White, 6 out of 5 for me. And I'm going to reread this book, or at least reread the last few chapters, experience that before I end up going to Kings of Death. So spoiler, I'm going to read Kings of Death this month. But this one was absolutely incredible. Demon in White deserved 6 out of 5, and it helped me start my month off with an absolute banger. And then while this month was good, there were some not so good, and there was some really amazing. So like I said, I started the month with really amazing with Demon in White, and then I moved to Name of the Wind, and I got to page 512 of Name of the Wind, and I actually DNF'd it. And here's why. So a couple reasons. I think the first reason was I came from Demon in White, which was an absolutely incredible action-packed sci-fi / fantasy. And I think going into Name of the Wind, I was expecting a little bit more. While the writing is absolutely immaculate, I got to page 512 and I was okay with putting it down, at least for now. It's a soft DNF. So I know a lot of Name of the Wind fans follow me and on both TikTok and YouTube. It's a soft DNF, but in the beginning, I was into it. Not gonna lie, I was into it a little bit there. And then I hit a part where I just couldn't go forward with it. And I had a month full of books that I wanted to read, and it just didn't make the cut for me. So this was a DNF for me for this month, and I will try to pick it back up later in the year. If you have any recommendations on how I should approach it next time, definitely let me know. But as of now, Name of the Wind, second book I read this month, soft DNF at 512. All right, and whenever you DNF a book, whether it's a soft DNF or a hard DNF, you are always cautious about the next book you pick up, because 2 books in a row I consider a reading slump in terms of 2 books that aren't hitting for you. One is like, okay, I can get past this. 2 books in a row, that is a reading slump. And I have a lot of favor on me because the next book I chose was actually the book of my latest mini book club, which is in my bio if you're interested in. But Jade City made sure I did not get into that slump. Jade City for me was a 5 out of 5. Everyone in book club is loving this so far. It's taken me so long to get to this series, but again, better late than never, right? Jade City was absolutely amazing. It was everything that I wanted and needed right after DNFing Name of the Wind. So in this one, you follow a family who is a part of a clan. The whole saga is called the Greenbone Saga, but you follow a family who's part of a clan called the No Peak Clan. And they are located on this particular piece of land that has jade. And there's only a certain amount of people or a certain type of people who can wear this jade. Those people are called Greenbones. But the No Peak Clan are not the only people who are part of this region, part of this land, who can wield these powers. They actually have a opposing clan called the Mountain Clan. And these 2 families or these 2 clans are constantly clashing. And Vonda Lee, she rips you to shreds. she rips you to shreds when it comes to this book. Like, she holds no bars. And I listen, characters were amazing in this one. The storyline was amazing in this one. People say it's mixed between Godfather and like martial arts, and I can totally see that. I feel like it was a little bit higher than that for me, just in terms of like I was really immersed in the story. I did the audiobook and I did the physical book for this one. I went off and on it, and truly amazing. And I think what I really liked about this book is that while I was reading this, I was imagining an anime, and I'm a big anime fan. And there's a preview of August in terms of why I like anime so much. But this one right here, I love this a lot, and I know there's mixed reviews out there on this one. I think this one basically didn't get me into a reading slump, and highly recommend this. Of course, Jade City. I will definitely be continuing this series. I'm in a lot of series right now, like I think like 7, 8 series, but I will be continuing this series for sure. Greenbone Saga, you got me. Finally, you got me. Jade City was truly a banger. And a book that I really wanted to get to, but I couldn't get to, was Babel. Babel was on my list for the longest, and I'm including in this because I want to make sure everybody knows that I exclusively use the library. And when you exclusively use a library for a lot of your books, you have to return those books. And I wanted to start Babel, but I didn't end up getting to it, and I'm gonna have to get it at a later month. I've heard nothing but great things about it, and I will be picking that back up, later this year, maybe around the fall, because people saying little fall vibes, little dark academia. So it's definitely be on the list for that for sure. And then what I'm currently reading right now, so what's bleeding over from July to August, is Rhythm of War. And goodness gracious, I'm halfway through and I am loving this. A lot of people say that this is the weakest book. However, I'm really enjoying this right now. Halfway through. Not to go into any spoilers, but the attack is happening at that location. And yeah, the Radiants are not doing so well right now. So that is where I'm at in Rhythm of War. I will be finishing this really soon because I'm doing the audiobook and the physical book, and this is all I'm reading right now. And I'm gonna definitely read this before I finish this, before I end up going to Japan, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. So Rhythm of War is what I'm reading right now. It's bleeding over from July into August. All right, so July, super realistic. I had a few books on my list. Didn't get to them all, but that's just the nature of being in the summer. I have realistic TBR lists. You won't ever see me come on here with 20 books because I work a full-time job, and that's just kind of the whims of that. But for August, we do have a jam-packed August too as well. Like I said, I am going to Japan in the middle of the month, and I will be taking some books with me. Just a matter of which books I'm going to be taking with me. I hope it's not Rhythm of War. I hope I finish Rhythm of War in time, because that'd be too big to lug around. But here's what I have in terms of my TBR list for August. The first book on my August TBR list is a book that's constantly being yelled at, constantly being screamed at to read. The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. Grimdark, which I don't really know much about Grimdark in terms of the actual genre, but this is one I'm really excited to get myself into. I'm hearing a lot of good things, and hopefully it stacks up from there. I've heard the audiobook for this is very, very good. So The Blade Itself, I'm really, really excited to get into it. And yeah, that's one of the first books that we'll end up reading. Next up is a sneaker too. It's Scythe. Scythe by Neil Schussman. I think I said that right. So this is, I think, more touted as a YA, and I have nothing against YA, because some of the best YA books are some of the best books that are out there. So this is one that's been recommended to me a lot too as well in terms of getting into this world. I'm excited for it. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on book 2 and book 3, but we're going to see. I'm excited for this. I also want to get more into YA as well. Sometimes you need a break from all the high action-packed adult fantasy, and this one has definitely hit my list from there. So Scythe on the list for sure. Another book that's been touted at me, another series that's been touted at me to be one of the greatest, is Shadow of Gods, in the Bloodsworn series, Bloodsworn Saga, that's what you call it, by John Gwynne. So this one is something that I'm really interested in because I see dragons, and a lot of books that I read don't actually have dragons in it. So we'll see the dragons in here. See if it's a Rage of Dragons type of deal, which Rage of the Dragons is fire. However, there were not many dragons in there. So we'll see Shadow of Gods if there's some dragons in here, as well as we'll see if this is a story that I'm really going to enjoy. We also have on the list is Jade War, the second book in the Greenbone saga. I really want to get to this month. I will only get to this if it gets voted in the book club. Just because, like I said, I'm in the middle of a lot of series, but I felt so strong about Jade City. I have to at least add it to the TBR list with an asterisk that I may not get to it unless my book club votes for it to be the book club book for August. So Jade War, the sequel to Jade City, the second book in the Greenbone saga, is also on the list too as well. And finally, a book that I'm gonna have to get to. Like, there's no questions asked. Kingdoms of Death. Kingdoms of Death by Christopher Rocchio. The fourth book in the Sun Eater series is like it's going to get read in August. Like some of these books on here may not be read. This one is a sure thing. Sure thing. I have to get back into Sun Eater World. I have to understand where Hadrian Marlowe is gonna go after last book. I'm really excited for this one here. Fourth book in the Sun Eater series. Kingdoms of Death. For sure. All right, in terms of TV shows and movies, so I've only watched two TV shows this month. First one being House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon came out, I think, last month, and obviously had episodes this month, and it's been okay. I think we're all waiting for the big hurrah moment. There's obviously one more episode left, and really looking forward to that. I think right now I'm giving House of the Dragon 7 out of 10. So when it comes to rating TV shows and movies, I have a 10 rating scale, and so far it's a 7 out of 10. It gets me to put the book down on Sundays, so it's doing something. But I just wish it was a little bit better. And then the other show that I've been watching, but I'm a soft DNF it, is The Bear. I had so many high hopes for The Bear. The first few seasons of it, and this season has not really been doing it for me. So I think I stopped at episode 8. Again, too many books to read. That's my watching update, and this will probably get a little bit bigger as we go along in terms of what I've watched, but it's only 2 for now. So yeah, we will see if I end up getting to all those books for August. I do have a lot of travel, which helps but also hurts when it comes to reading as many books that I have on this list for there. Like I said, I am going to Japan mid-August, so if anybody has any Tokyo recommendations, do not hesitate to reach out to me and give me some Tokyo recommendations. I'm really excited to explore that city. There for like a week, and it's going to be a good time. Going to be a great time. Hopefully, I can get a lot of reading done. I'll definitely get a lot of reading done before then, but hopefully, I get a lot of reading done while I'm there too as well. What is on your list for August, as well as how did your July go? Did you get all the reading done that you wanted to get done in July? Let me know. And as always, everyone, happy reading.